So Anton Kolonin from Agents and SingularityNet will speak next about AI environment and architecture for decentralized crypto finance. I'm really very sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction, and I will move from the speech of the first presenter who said that one of the components of AI applied in finance is active and passive portfolio management. And the projects that I'm going to talk to you about actually belong to active investment portfolio management in crypto finance. The task of multi-currency portfolio management can be seen as a task of optimization of digital assets placement in two-dimensional space where along one axis there are assets. For example, we can have some assets in Ethereum, others in Bitcoins, still others in further cryptocurrencies, but that is only one component, because apart from us being able to save our money in these or those currencies, we can use them differently. For example, part of the money can be stored under the pillow, so to say, and that strategy is called hodling. That is when we redistribute the weights of these or those assets inside one portfolio, increasing the share of one currency and decreasing the share of another. But apart from that, we can also change and redistribute our assets from the point of view of what strategies are applied to provide for the growth of our portfolio worth. The situation is becoming more interesting. For example, we can have a part of one currency held expecting growth, and another part of this currency, like here, for example, in Ethereum, we can have making Binance and trading Binance, 5 and 5% respectively, and we can use part in the trading and stock in exchange, whereas other can be traded through limited order systems in centralized exchanges like Binance. And that is what we are doing as of now. Here you can see approximately architecture and of the systems that we are dealing with. And in green, you can see models that are now up and running. And at the top level are applied parts of the system, that is portfolio planning and portfolio balancing, depending on the market conditions. And most interesting to us now is active trading or market making. And that is trading at an exchange through limited orders. As a support to decision-making of the top level, first and foremost, what is used is market simulation. That is either total simulation of the market to understand what the market conditions are to these or those strategies to be applied, or backtesting. That is when we test these or those strategies basing on historical data for a certain historical period. And the source data for the choice of the strategy and the management and order placement can be price prediction. That is when we use ML mechanism to use additional information to enhance the quality of our strategies. And predictions can be based on market data gathered from the market, or sentiment analysis, or analysis of cognitive distortions that can be seen in social media. In the basis of our technology is the principle of narrow AI, when the cognitive architecture meant for expanding universal tasks shown in this scheme and put forward by us at the GI Conference 2021 not long ago, is used in certain applied area, in this case crypto finance, within certain operational space where the goals of the system are to get high profits and mitigate risks and losses. And the models that this system has to form within this environment interaction P&L models as a result of rules and behaviors showing that the high price should promote selling or offer and bids. And here we have to monitor the prices and the activities in the environment and therefore place orders for ask or bid. And here you can see the operational space for market making. And in top left, there are the source data that our agents do not work on now because there are too many of them and there are too raw. So we process them and form metrics based on the market data, like the price and also metrics of sentiments. If we use methods of cognitive behavioral therapy to come up with certain signals or metrics for market strategies. And as for the decisions made by the agent, they can be direct commands, but we do not do it yet. We now work indirectly with the market through trading bots, providing for liquidity or market-making bots that receive parameters. So our agent, as a result of interaction with the market, forms certain policies, dynamic policies, and these policies are then given to these bots that actually perform the trading in the exchange. And an example of that is on the top. There is the falling market that cannot make money using passive strategy. And in the center, you can see the simulation through various agents and various strategies. And the top red bar to the left shows losses by hodler because the price is going down. Therefore, hodler is experiencing losses. And all the other bars, so red are losses and green are profits. And these are strategies implemented by various bots or agents that perform trading through limited orders with different parameters. Each of them has a set of parameters and determine the strategy within the general market-making strategy. And we can see that half of the strategies gives losses, whereas the other half profits. And in the bottom, you can see what will happen if we use our adaptive bot. So it takes and tries to assess the efficiency of all the strategies that we can imagine real time, and selects those for real trading that in the current market conditions are profitable according to its opinion. And therefore, we can see that in the falling market, we can have profit that in absolute volume is 3 times higher than the loss experienced by the hodler. And that is what it looks like in real time, approximately. So we can have a look at the comparison of P&L of hodler, that is green bar, dark green. So on top, we can see cumulative profit, and in the bottom, incremental profit. So we can see that the hodler is experiencing losses, though this interval of growing market gives him a chance to increase the profit. And we can see that the adaptive agent in light green that responds online to the market and selects the correct strategy is incrementally in the profit all the time. And at the end of the simulation, the profit is really cool. And we can monitor how it happens in real time. So that is the result of this monitoring of agent. And at the bottom, there are the results of real trading that the agent performs towards the real market. And on top, you can see what it does in its mind. So the architecture is so that it simultaneously performs operations in the market using all possible modes. And it carries out trading in virtual space based on historical data that it receives in real-time mode so not recently happening deals are also received by it, and it selects strategies proceeding from that. And from time to time, its own system assesses the strategies that are most beneficial and successful and profitable for real operations, real transactions in the market, and therefore it selects those that are beneficial. And we can see that sometimes it makes certain errors. So here we selected an agent that had to work, but we can see that it experiences losses. And here we selected the agent in simulation mode that gives a profit, and in real mode it gives us profit. Here as well it is supposed to give us profit, and it does. Here as well in simulation mode we select the agent that is supposed to give us profit, and at the end round it gives us profit as well, and therefore we result with really great profit. And here you can see that in the same market, we can roll out different strategies and test different strategies. For example, there is a trading bot of Autonio Foundation Company, and on the right-hand side, that is Hummingbot. On the left-hand side, that is various basic bots that we come up at the beginning of the project. And as for the Autonio bot, you can see that with the help of adaptive optimization, we can see 3% of ROI daily. What we can do with it further on? We can add prediction here, and you can see how it is added to this adaptive selection. The price prediction through ensemble methods of LSTM. And we must say that prediction of cryptocurrency, price prediction at cryptocurrency market is much harder than in ordinary financial markets on various reasons. First and foremost, because of large volatility and manipulativity of cryptocurrency market. But still, we can see that in 2 out of 3 intervals, prediction enables us to increase the profit drastically. For example, from 22 to 23 of June this year, if hodler in blue was profitable and the trading in the exchange without the adaptive strategy. In this slide, we do not use adaptive strategy that I was talking to you about even. And we can see in orange the trading bot under the combination of all possible strategies goes to the negative side, and if we apply LSTM production, we are in the positive area, so we have a lot of profit. As for June 24-25, hodler experiences losses, and without the prediction, a little plus, and with LSTM prediction, we receive 3 times higher profit. And June 26-27, it turns out that it is better to simply trade without using prediction models. And even in this case, we would be able to outperform hodler. The next thing that we are trying to do is to use sentiment analysis from the news streams of Twitter and Reddit. And sentiment analysis is not the only thing that can be done in cryptocurrency markets. We also work with patterns of cognitive behavioral therapy. And in 2 charts here, you can see a link of combined patterns, such as it is called positive mental field and emotional reasoning. That is orange chart on top, and you can see that all the surges, apart from one, precede the price high. And so the blue is price, and you can see that the orange precedes the blue one. So it is a certain indicator and matrix of the price change. And the bottom chart is a little bit more difficult, And this indicator is the predictor of trading volumes. So in orange, you can see cognitive distortions, and in blue is a chart that shows trading volumes Bitcoin to USD. And that is an example of how we analyze the predictive force of respective cognitive patterns. And that is a correlation, thermal map of correlation between the CBS patterns on the vertical axis and on the horizontal axis. So we can see the temporal shifts of price chart in relation to the number chart, and we can see the filtering, and we can say that this parameter, mental filtering, has a very strong predictive force. And another thing that we do for sentiment analysis, we have tested over 20 models in open source, and we can see that the model that we actually elaborated ourselves exceeds by 1.5 times the indicators of birth that was taken from financial data from the open source. And thank you all for your attention. That is all that I wanted to share with you. If I do not have a chance to take all your questions now, please use these contact details to ask your questions, and we would be able to discuss this topic further on afterwards. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anton, for this dive into quantitative trading, for this very interesting, specific topic as a cryptocurrency trading. It was really very informative and interesting. We have several questions from our participants, and one of them is asking the following. Algorithms of AI are present in your algorithms of selection between the strategies and the forecasts that you have described. And is the AI algorithm present in the bots themselves, in the agents? The bots that we are using now have no AI. So we are trying to apply AI to manage the bots. Another question. As for the data volume that you have from people communication that you collect, as far as I understand, that you use it to understand what is on the hype and what cognitive distortions they are. But looking at it generally, what data are the most valuable in terms of predictive force and financial result that you receive from this all? As for my prospects, regrettably, a lot of data that can influence the change in cryptocurrency markets, we do not have access to this data, because now cryptocurrency trading is more and more centralized, and all the processes that take place inside the cryptocurrency exchanges are not accessible to any observers, so to say, third-party observers. Therefore, management of patterns that have a good predictive force is problematic. So, from my point of view, more interesting and productive will be the identification of algorithms in uncertainty conditions and adaptation of strategies to changing market conditions and prediction of market dynamics as a whole than the price prediction itself. So the price prediction is problematic as of now, and what data are more informative to it is hard to say. So sentiment is more is stronger in predictive force than other data that we can find. Thank you very much for your answer, and thank you very much for this highly informative presentation.